So you've been pretty consistent. Sweetheart, I'm doing something. But you've been pretty consistent. What you think helping you with that consistency in your life?
Not worrying about no job or money.
Go past me, man.
That's all they gotta do. I'll be petty and keep on getting out over there until they pass me, because now you're getting up my nerves. But I feel like, to sum it up, to be honest, worried about the wrong thing.
Like, I be having
the Matrix. That's what I ain't in the Matrix right now.
I be having inconsistencies with the different work schedules and work hours that I be having. One day I might be off for 4 days, and the next might be working for 6 days straight. And the amount of hours from like getting up at 5:30 in the morning to getting off at 5:30 in the evening, that's 12 hours right there, and that ain't even,
I should have bought that book.
That ain't even touching, getting home at 6. So, I don't know. I feel like I can be consistent, but until my schedule get consistent and I know what's going to be going on, because different in my profession, teaching and coaching, different sports, different times of practice, different times of the year.
Well, not to cut you off, but that goes back to, are you really in your God-given purpose? And I'm not saying that you're not, but when God puts his children in their purposes where he really wants them, you ain't gonna be worried about that. You're not, because you're gonna have the schedule that you need and want. You're gonna have consistencies. And it's just like, is this what you want to do, or is this where God placed you? That's how I really had to start looking at things, because I know for a fact God ain't gonna place me in no situation where everything is inconsistent, because he's a consistent God. And if he a consistent God, then he wants his children to have consistency too. I know he ain't gonna place me in no situation or no position to where I'm everywhere but with him. And that goes back to this TikTok I was watching. It was saying that if you want to be a teacher or a coach, you really have to pray and go to Christ and ask him, is this your God-given purpose? Because you're gonna need him. You're gonna need his help. You're gonna need his guidance. And when any career that Christ puts you in, you're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna be having fun with it. I don't care what nobody say. Yeah, you might get tired here and there, but that's just life, period. We humans. But you're gonna be doing more. You're gonna be having more positive comments about your career than negativity, if that makes sense. And not saying that you're saying negative. I'm just really telling you how, like, when you in your God-given purpose, it's not gonna feel like work, or it's not just gonna be straight up inconsistency. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think I try to blame it on certain things, on why I don't enjoy certain aspects of my day. But I just don't like how, my day is took up from sun up to sundown. And it's hard to compensate for that time that you're not getting to spend for yourself. That's pretty much where I be having to draw the line. But then, you have these days where you you just off for periods of time, but then that just be recovery.
But then that's just playing into inconsistency.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's not consistent. And then you gotta wait around for those days to come. That's not consistency.
Yeah.
And I always refer it back to what kind of God are you serving? What you are serving a consistent God who's the same today, forever, always, and more. Like, if that's the kind of God you're serving, then you have to know and you have to believe that He's not gonna put me in no situation to where I can't have no consistency either. If you feel me?
Yeah. Then, having a kid too, having Kylie around and needing to be consistent with her, like some activities after school with the family, something that we can all do together. But with the burnt out aspect of working every day, she don't always get the top tier dad or top tier mom that she has, because she do have those things. It's just the way that we put things in order for our day-to-day basis. It's not consistent.
But I am grateful that we catching it at an early phase to where we trying to change that situation.
Yeah, she blessed to have family like she do. So it ain't just all on us. So we all, thankful for that, because we know where she can get some love unconditionally. We know if we not just giving all that to her at one point in time, we know where she can go get that from. If we need help or just time to regroup and get our thoughts together. Because buying a house is a big purchase. Moving 4 hours from somewhere that you've been living for 4 to 5 years is a big move. It's a lot of thought process that goes into that. Financials, it's a lot of thought that goes into that for some people. Some people live where they don't even look at their bank account until they get paid again.
But that goes back to, I'm sorry, right now in this conversation, I'm taking it all back to Christ. I'm not trying to think of humanly ways. I'm trying to think of Christ's ways. That time that we were sitting at the park and we was like, when Jesus was here on earth, that man didn't have to make no hard decisions, because all of the decisions or every move that he made was coming from his Father.
Mm-hmm.
So if Christ didn't have to just ponder upon everything or worry about things that we have to worry about now, why are we doing it? When all we got to do is go to Christ in prayer, and He literally, because I'm a living witness that when you take it to Him, He gonna let you know. Because every time I take something to that man, He gonna let me know. I had a moment in the room the other night to where I was sitting on the floor. I don't know if the Holy Spirit came over me. Well, I ain't gonna say I don't know, because I do know that was the Holy Spirit that came over me. But I'm just sitting here like, I was really just in a place of just like trying to show gratitude to Christ. And then like, I don't know, I just said to myself, Jesus, like, or God, like, I want to feel your love right now. And then something prompted me to go get my little Bible. So I got my little Bible, and it prompted me to John 3:16, and it was talking about Jesus loved the world so much that He gave his one and only Son. And that was God telling me, this is how much I love you. I love you so much because I gave my Son to save your life. And that right there just made me feel like, bro, you can't tell me when you go to this man wholeheartedly, in sorrow, tears, or however you go to Him, if you ask Him for something, he not going to respond to you or give it to you. Like, He going to let you know. And all the times that Jesus had to depart from his disciples to go up on a mountain by himself, he was going to go into prayer. And my daddy taught me something. He said, you remember when all the men took that woman to Jesus and was saying, you know, I think she was like participating in prostitution or whatever. And Jesus said, and God said, my daddy said, if you really read it, it teaches you that Jesus didn't respond to them right away. He kind of like let them express themselves, and it was a brief moment of silence before he responded to them. And he said, do you know why it was a brief moment of silence? And then I was thinking, like, why? And he said, because he had to get the answer from his father first before he responded to him. And it made sense. And what was his answer? He who have not sinned, cast the first stone. And didn't nobody throw no stone. Like, that, everything that you try to fix or do in your own humanly ways, it's just not gonna work out. It ain't. You gotta learn how to go to Christ and give it to him. And the only way that you can do that is by really going to him. They said it last night at that gospel concert. Like, when you really weeping and crying and going to him, wanting some change, he gonna hear you. To where you ain't gotta make these hard decisions, because he gonna make them for you. And I just truly want to ask, like, do you have moments like that to where you really go to Christ in prayer? Like, and you don't necessarily have to be weeping all the time, but to go to him. But when I go to him in prayer, I end up weeping, because I just feel something over me, like the Holy Spirit. Like, if I go to Jesus because I feel like I need some love and I haven't been getting love, it's this one song that I always listen to after I feel Jesus' love, because I don't know, it makes me feel love. But do you have moments to where you sincerely go to Christ and pray and give it to him, or do you be trying to do things on your own?
Yeah, I go to him often, but not often enough. You know,
That's not often.
It's not an everyday thing, but I do try to reach out to him as much as I can. But like I say, like, I'm human, and it's not the first thing on my mind every single day like it should be, because number one, I might get up and I'm rushing. You know, I might get up and I'm just moving at a pace where I just only have time to think about where my keys is, and that's something that I'm trying to change. So
you have to look at it like this: if you only have certain days to where you can give to him, then he only has certain blessings that he can give to you. If you feel what I'm saying.
I feel what you're saying.
Like, if you can't give your all to him, then he can't give his all to you.
And that makes complete sense, but you know.
And that's in that book the book I got that I read my Bible from and I learned from. I learned that us humans hinder our own blessings because we get so caught up in us trying to do everything on our own, and us not fully surrendering to Christ. And